Hello everybody, my name is Jack and welcome back. Welcome back for a new and fun Italian language lesson. Today, as you probably know by reading the title, we're gonna deal with obligation. In English we have two alternatives. We can use the modal verb must, or we can use a real verb in the flesh, have to. What's the difference? Well, mainly is the meaning, or better, the level of the obligation we want to express. In fact, we can use must if we mainly mean to express an urgent obligation or a duty felt by the speaker, like I must go. Must is a modal verb, so it behaves like any other English modal verb. Therefore, it can be used only in present tense. It has no auxiliary verbs in its interrogative and negative forms, is invariable, it is never followed by a direct object. Last but not least, verbs that follow must are in their infinite mode without the particle to. Have to is a verb, so it behaves like a verb. It indicates an obligation, but coming from the outside, like you have to study harder, and often it means a less strong obligation compared to must. Have to is a regular verb, therefore it behaves as a regular verb. It is variable in its different conjugations. It needs auxiliary verbs in negatives and interrogatives forms, like the following examples. Blackboard, I summon you. You don't have to study harder. Did you have to study hard? In fact, keep in mind that if we transform must into its negative form, so must not, that obligation is so strong that becomes a prohibition, like you must not smoke here. Well, in Italian language, both have to and must are translated with one single verb, which is the verb dovere. Dovere, ere, second conjugation. Dovere expresses a generic obligation, and in Italian language there's no difference between have to and must. Blackboard. The pattern is the following. The obligation in Italian is made like this. Io, pronoun, following the verb dovere conjugated properly, devo, and then the actual verb that express the action that need to be done. Like for instance the English sentence I have to go. In Italian is gonna be io devo andare. Devo is variable, therefore must be conjugated to its first singular person. Andare is the invariable part, so always the verb after dovere is always placed in its infinite form. So you can spot that the builds of the obligation using have to is very similar to Italian dovere. The verb dovere belongs to the second conjugation and is going to be conjugated in the following forms. Io devo, I have to. Tu devi, you have to. Lui, lei deve, he, she, it has to. Noi dobbiamo, we have to. Voi dovete, you have to. Loro devono, they have to. Of course, if we swap the verb andare, to go, for another verb like mangiare, to eat, the pattern will remain the same. You have to conjugate the verb dovere properly, but then the second verb, the verb that describes the action, mangiare, remains to its infinite form. Io devo mangiare. I have to eat. Of course, as I showed you in this very video, the particle non, the negation in Italian, transforms the sentence into its negative form. Io non devo mangiare. I don't have to eat. Ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe please to help me support my work so I can give you more free Italian language lesson, but most importantly, remember, yeah, you know the line, speak like a genius. Bye!